Mike would sit for hours huddled in the dark, in the thick, choking heat of his foreign purgatory, with a needle made from a bamboo splinter, threading together an American flag. Whenever I see a flag, I am reminded to keep that man's spirit alive. Unquestionably, he is a hero. He served in the Army as a medic, a front-line medic, and he never carried a gun. These men were at the gates of hell and turned away. More and more I have come to see the similarities between the Medal of Honor heroes and the heroes of everyday life. Your heart will swell with pride for these representatives of our great nation, and you will be in absolute awe of what the human spirit is capable of doing. I wanted to listen to what these men had to say. I wanted to look into their eyes and into their hearts to see what perhaps was not being said, to find that message that might be too personal or too emotionally significant or perhaps even too obvious for them to put into words.
Tom Brokaw commented that every man, woman, and child can learn important lessons from this book.
James Burt has 118 fragments in his midsection, 18 in his head, and 12 in his right hand. He says, what is, is. Fear is time and mind-consuming and wasteful. Fear may be contagious. Fear does not spark superior endeavor, but leads to inferior performance.
Kurt Vonnegut stated that the book had stirred him, quote, more deeply and permanently than any shocking virtual reality war movie could ever do.
He was stationed at Pearl Harbor and was just leaving the base driving his brand new Ford pickup truck. He heard aircraft overhead, looked up out of the window, and saw the symbol of the rising sun on the airplane's wings. He knew exactly what that meant. And he could have just continued driving away to safety, but without hesitating, without even thinking, he simply turned his truck around and went back to join his comrades. He turned around and went back to do his duty. He talked about it as if it were the most natural thing in the world to do. He talked about it as if everyone would have done the same thing.
Ben Stein found Ordinary Heroes to be, quote, one of the most moving books I have ever read or seen.
The only time Desmond ever even picked up a gun was when he used a broken rifle stock as a splint on his own shattered arm, when in one ferocious battle, after saving countless other men's lives and becoming wounded himself, he treated his own injuries rather than cause another medic to come into harm's way on his behalf.
Historian Stephen Ambrose noted that everyone in America admires the Medal of Honor recipients. Here, thanks to Tom Casalini, we get to know them today.
Big Mike got wind of this and came over to the Finns' table. Now, picture this, because it's a beautiful thing. He grabbed the tablecloth, fashioned sort of a sling out of it, walked over to Mrs. Finn and lifted her out of her wheelchair and carried her onto the dance floor where she danced her last dance with Big Mike. The way John tells it, that's the kind of character and commitment to others that makes Big Mike as an important a hero to him as anything he may have done during combat.
Walter Cronkite stated that Ordinary Heroes is a brilliant title, as the book speaks of the ordinary lives from which heroes emerge and to which most return.
The individuals of recognized valor that are pictured in my book are just like you and me, loving their families, attending their churches, serving their communities, facing their challenges, sharing their joys. Ordinary people, simply doing their duty. What can we learn from these men as September the 11th, 2001 becomes our history? Let us learn that it is about those who woke up on September the 11th thinking of themselves as ordinary people who became ordinary heroes.